Okay, welcome to my AMA. Go to my slide here, and we'll pin my spotlight me. Okay, welcome to my AMA for September 9, 2022. I have probably about my 7 or 8 questions that I typically do. Some of them are going to be
No, we get them at CVS right here in town.
all right. I'm going to mute everyone. So I do run a pretty
idea.
loose, yeah, I do run a pretty loose ship here. So if you have a question, just unmute yourself. And I do try to monitor the chat, but I'm not the best at that yet. So I might miss that. And I've learned this little trick. If you do have a question in the chat, put a little Q in front of the in the thing, so then that'll flag it like that's a question, and then I can hopefully get to it. So, but yeah, I'm not going to introduce myself. Everybody knows who I am for the most part. This was not a public. I didn't make this public, although anybody could sign up for it. So for the most part, everybody knows who I am. These Ask Me Anythings are a little bit smaller, a little more. Request that live transcription. Yes, we need live transcriptions. Thank you. Okay, so let's get started, and we'll get through these questions here, and then maybe we can do a little Q&A. And I do have iOS 16, and if you have any questions on that, I didn't specifically make any kind of a presentation on iOS 16 because I didn't know when it was coming out, but maybe I need to do that in the near future because I see I have a couple of holes in my classes. So anyway. Let's get to it. This one is from Bonnie, and I see that Bonnie is here. And she asks, how do I open a doc file that has been downloaded and saved from a Windows PC? Well, basically, you can open those up in Pages. You could also open those up in Microsoft Word if you have that, obviously. But you can open it up in Microsoft Word online. Pages does convert those documents. It does a pretty good job, but it's not perfect. And if it's a relatively simple document, it really does a great job. If it's a more complicated document where you have text boxes over here and lines and things like that, then you might have to fix it up just a little bit. But what I'm going to do, go over to my Mac here, and let's go and find a Windows doc file. And let's see here, technical download. I'll download. I should have done this ahead of time, and I didn't because I was working on how to free my mind in Obsidian, and now it's going to go worse thanks to Phil. But basically, when you double click on the document, the doc.doc, what it'll do is it'll open up in Pages by default. And then what you're going to get is it's just going to convert it. So let's see if I have a doc. No, because pictures, if the pictures are in the document, yeah, it'll open up that document because the pictures are in the document. Pages and Microsoft Word, just think of it this way. Pages and Microsoft Word are documents. It's not a picture. It's a document that can contain pictures, but it's not something that you would open up a picture with. What you would do is you would open up a document that has pictures. And you're going to see I actually have some here. This is a docx, which is the latest version. So when I open this up, you're going to see it also says Microsoft Word. So when I open this up, you're going to see it's opening up Pages. And there it is. No, if it can't open it, what I would say there's probably an error in it. And can you go back to the original document? Do you have the Windows PC yet? Hard drive. Okay, then you would, it's going to be one of two things. It could be an older style document, or maybe there's something that might be too complicated, although that usually you'll just see a mess. Like with this one here, it's all blank on the first page. That's what you get when it's converted. but it's there. For the most part, it's all there. What I would do is, and you do not need to pay for Microsoft for this, you can go to Microsoft 365 and create a free account. And then right here, oops, I just had it. Right here, sign up for the free version. You do not have to pay for it. So click on here. It's online only. You're not going to be able to download the apps or anything like that. But what you will be able to do is, once you create your account, is open that Windows document up in Windows. If it opens up online, then you're good. Then just export it out as a document file and try it again. Or at least you can open it up online. So, all right. Okay.
Dan, could you go on
Yeah.
and get a free account from Microsoft for like Keynote?
Yeah.
their-
Yep. So
because I
Office.
buy it every.
Oh, yeah. The Office 365, let's see here, includes PowerPoint, Word, and Excel. And like I say, yeah. Yep. The way, sign up for free. And it's going to ask me to sign up. But basically, yeah, from everything that I understand on this, you're going to have everything. It's just that, you have to do it online. But in your case, like you said, if it's one presentation a year, I believe you can. You just have to do it online. I believe you can. Ooh, that's an expensive change. Let's see here. Office, let's check. 365, free online. You can edit, share, access anywhere, familiar, work with anyone, Word for the web, Excel, PowerPoint, and I did see it's office.com is where you need to go. And I saw somewhere in here that you could edit those documents. So, yep. All right. Bonnie also asked, if I have iCloud, why do I need Dropbox? This is actually a pretty good question. And Dropbox, was the darling for many, many years. I had an account, and I probably still do have an account with Dropbox, and it works really, really well. In fact, I just played around with using it again, probably 6 months ago. I didn't do it because it didn't. I found that iCloud did what I needed it to do. But the question is, why did I think that I needed Dropbox again, and why would someone use Dropbox over iCloud or iCloud over Dropbox? So first of all, they're both basically the same thing. It's a file drive in the cloud, so you can go with that. But the differences are Dropbox is made more for enterprise, where iCloud is made more for the personal user, such as myself or maybe you, anyone that just the casual user that just wants to store some documents in the cloud, they can use iCloud. And what's really nice about iCloud is it integrates with all of the Apple devices. So it just works really, really well. Dropbox does too. And if I go to my iPad, I think I have Dropbox on here. Is it going? It's not going to my iPad there. Let's try it again here. Let's go iPad. Okay. When I go to my Files app here and close this document, you're going to see I have iCloud Drive, so I can browse all of my files on iCloud Drive, but I also have Dropbox. I can browse all the files on Dropbox as well. So they're really, you can use either one, but what iCloud has on top of that is works with calendar and your photos. It's built into the Apple ecosystem. Huge advantage in that case. Where Dropbox is more for enterprise, and what I'd be able to do is share my Dropbox accounts with my wife, and then we both could access it. So you could create a shared drive. You can add comments to files on Dropbox. So again, if you have multiple people going into that Dropbox, you go and change a file, you'd be able to go and see it. You can do versioning with Dropbox. You can't do that with iCloud Drive. So it's more for the, I would say more for the business, the professional user, where iCloud is more for the personal user, if that answers your question. So, and I am a huge fan of iCloud. It is what I use on a regular basis. So I'll end with the reason why I looked at Dropbox was because I use Otter.ai to do all of my transcriptions for my videos. And this is where the enterprise comes into play. When I export a video and I put it into a special Dropbox folder, Otter sees that and it will automatically get the transcript. So it's completely automatic. So all I have to do is just put that file into that folder and it's done. Within 5 minutes, I'd have that transcription. I decided it wasn't worth the $10 a month to do that, or whatever Dropbox was, because now all I have to do is just go to otterai.com and I can drag and drop the file on there and it's fine. You know, it's like 1 or 2 files a day. I don't need that much efficiency. So, is it? Okay. Yeah. Although iCloud can get expensive too, although not too bad. 99 cents for 50 gigabyte, which is pretty good. So yeah, I personally, iCloud Drive. And what you can do with iCloud Drive, the other thing that Dropbox had that iCloud Drive didn't have up until a year or two ago, and it's kind of a hidden, I'm guessing a lot of people don't realize you can do this. But here's my iCloud folder. Whoops, you're not looking at my Mac. Here's my iCloud folder. Now let's just say what I wanted to do was I'm talking to Phil about Obsidian and I have some documents and I'm like, I want to share them with him. So what I can do is I can go to my shared folder. I created this folder and I would just go Phil. And when I control click on it to get our little contextual menu, you're going to see that I can share this and share the folder. And then all I have to do is just copy this link, or I can message Phil, or I can email Phil. He accepts that invitation, and all of a sudden he has access to that folder. We have a shared folder. That is something that Dropbox has been able to do for years, and Apple, I'd say for a few years, and it's been a little clunky, but it's been flawless probably in the last 2 years. So, do you? Without any problem? Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Monterey might be the key there. Monterey was a good operating system. Yep. So, all right. So, iCloud, big fan.
Thank you.
Yep. Ron is asking, looking for an application that will allow him to share a folder through the cloud that will include the name or event. So I kind of touched on this just a minute ago, and I should have emailed Ron with more clarification on this. And this is what I am trying to do when I talked earlier about working on trying to get myself a little more productive. What I want to do is start looking at these questions a day earlier, and then when I see one that I'm really not quite sure how I understand, I want to email the person and say, can you clarify a couple things for me? And I didn't do that here, so hopefully I will down the road. So all I can tell you right now, I don't quite fully understand the question, but I'll go back to what I just showed you, how you can share a folder. I'm not sure where the include the name or event would come in. That's my biggest question. So Ron, are you here? Not here? Okay, so if you watch this later, Ron, and I don't answer your question right here, email me with a little bit more detail, and then we'll see if we can figure this out. But to share a folder, as I just showed you earlier here, all you have to do is just go into iCloud, and you can create a folder. I'm going to use that same fill, and essentially right-click on it, or if you have a 2-button mouse, control-click on it, hold down the control key and click. You get a little contextual menu, and then from here, share folder, and all I have to do is copy this link, and you're going to add the email address. So I would add Phil's email address in here. He would get that link. He would accept the invitation. He does have to accept it. And then once he accepts that invitation, he has access to that folder within his iCloud drive. So it's going to show up on his iCloud drive. You can also set who you want. So let's just say you want to make this public. Maybe you have something to. I wouldn't do this for a lot of files, but something that somebody needs to download maybe once a week or something like that, and it's not that large. What you could do is anyone with the link here, what they would be able to do is make changes or view. So you'd set it for view only or make changes. And then what they're going to be able to do, without even accepting an invitation, they're going to be able to access that folder. So if I sent this link out to everyone here that's in this meeting here, you'd just click on the link and you'd have access to this folder. So it's relatively simple to do. And what you can also do is then, this one is shared. You're going to see it has a little, let me see if I can make this larger here. And shared. You can see that it has the little icons there. That tells me that this one is being shared. So what I'm able to do is open it up, and I can see everything that I'm sharing in it, and whoever I'm sharing this with is also going to see everything here. And if I go to share, I can go and manage it, and I can see who I am sharing it with. I can remove that person, add more people, or I can just make it anyone with the link. So you can make changes to that after you share your folder as well. So if you need more people, you can add more people. You want to remove someone, you can remove someone. You want to stop sharing altogether, you can do that as well. So maybe it's just a folder that you're just temporarily sharing, then you just stop the sharing and they're not going to have access to, no one's going to have access to it anymore. So that's how you can share a document. My biggest question with this question was, will it include the name or the event? So I'm not sure about that one. So what he means there. So Ron, if you could clarify that for me, that'd be awesome. All right.
Would you be sharing that with, could you put photos in that same shared file?
It's just a folder. It's just, so anything you put in that folder, anybody's going to be able to access. And if you give them where they could edit it, they could upload folders or photos to it as well. So it's a way that you can share documents, photos, movies. It's just a folder at that point, a shared folder. All right. Let's see here.
Is there any reason why you would want to use that to share your photos as opposed to creating an album that you share with somebody through the Photos app?
That's a fun question.
Because I do that. I mean, we make family photo sharing available with albums that a whole bunch of people within the family can add photos to that.
And that's the way that I would recommend doing it. If you put them in a folder here.
Are you recommending doing it through photos? Because that, I appreciated that Deborah asked that question.
Yep, I absolutely am saying if you can, do it through photos. And the reason is, with photos, it's built into an app. It's designed to do this. People can comment on it. It offers more features. With the folder, I'm going to say it's old school. That's the way that we had to do it in the past. So some people still like to do it that way, but you're not going to be able to organize them. You are not going to be able to like them. You're not going to be able to comment on them. Caption them.
You also have to export them from your Photos app to get them to be able to put them in that folder.
and it's going to
It's an
take up
extra
more
step.
space.
Yeah.
Because you're doubling your photos. On top of that, if you, like say, if you edit it, you know, it's destructive editing as opposed to the Photos app is non-destructive, so you can always undo and edit. So there's far more advantages to keep it in the photos. I think what people do is they use the folder technique just because that's what they grew up with, and that's how we did it, and that's what you have to do. But really, it's not the proper way to do it anymore. And especially with Apple coming out with their shared library, which they delayed, but I have played around with it, and my brief little things with it, it works really, really well. So, and then you're going to not only create shared albums, you're going to be able to share a library with your family. So, nice new thing that they're having there. So yeah, stay away from putting photos into. Oh, and then the other one is the name. If you export them out, like Phil was saying, you export them out, that name is just a bunch of random gibberish, and photos you can caption them, and all kinds of good stuff. Have the meta tags, you can see where the photo was taken, all that good stuff. So, yeah, I recommend the Photos app, and I like the Photos app. So, all right. John asks, what is the new iOS 16 feature dynamic island? So did everyone watch the Apple event? Do we know, anyone not know what the dynamic island is?
Yes,
Gonna
I
put
don't
just
know.
14 just to have it.
Yeah. Wow, this good.
I mean, I don't know what it is.
Okay. So you know how we have on an iPhone, here, I'll go to my Mac, and we're just going to, it's for the new iPhone Pros, the 14 Pros. So no one has it except the reviewers. So all I can do is show you, oops, we'll go to Apple. Is it clear for everyone, or? Okay. All right, cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So basically what they did, this is the little, where it can read your face and the camera, this little black area here. And on the current iPhone, you know, it hugs right up to the top there. And this has always been kind of like the butt of jokes with non-Apple people. Of course, now Samsung is doing it as well. But they're like, we don't want to have that notch. We don't want to have that notch. That notch is dumb. That notch is in the way. I can't watch a movie because of that notch. And of course, that slowly went away. But what Apple did with the iPhone 14 Pro is I didn't come up with this. I read it and I love it. What they basically did is they turned this notch, this pill here, into a feature. So essentially what this does is this now becomes something that you can tap, and it gives you status updates. It can tell you if you're playing a Spotify song as an example. So let's go to, where's the Pro? There it is. Answer a phone. You can kind of see how that worked. I'll refresh it again. And what they mean by dynamic is it'll grow. You tap on the green, and now you can see the audio there. And it's very clever at what they did. It's still, to this day, right down here is the camera. And over here, you're going to see there's the little lights there. It's still, that is not part of the screen. But the screen in between here is where they can put all that data. And what they do is they extend this out to make that black area look larger, and they add the interactivity to it. So like I say, they're turning that into a feature. There's still certain parts that will absolutely not have any display on it because that's where the cameras are. But all around it, they will. So let's see if there's another one here. There. You can kind of see what it does. But you'll notice that right about here, there will never be any text because that's where the camera is, but they would extend that out. So I think it's very clever what they did, and I think it's really cool. And like you answer a phone, you just go up to the top there. It also gives, I'm all about consistency. I like an interface that is very consistent. And for years, ever since Mac OS X came out, from day one, I've never liked the dock. And the reason why I don't like the dock is because depending on how many apps you have open, things will move. What they should have done is pin it over to the left, which you can do through Terminal, and then I know that my Safari will always be right down here. I like consistency. And right now, or with Mac OS X since day one, it's very inconsistent with that dock. Not to get on a soapbox, but this kind of builds kind of that consistency. This is where I'm going to go for answering the phone. This is where I'm going to go for stopping and playing a song, that kind of thing. So you know where to go instinctively just by going to that dynamic island. Is it enough to purchase a phone? I have not pre-ordered it yet. I'm starting to see, I'm a camera nut, and I'm starting to see, reviews coming in with the camera, so I'm just kind of waiting on that. That's my thing. I love my 13 Pro, but we'll see. Maybe I need to see that in person, but I do like what they've done with it. 48 megapixel camera, but by default it takes 12 megapixel pictures because those files will be too large. That's what I've read. So you can do it, but they would be, a 48 megapixel photo typically is about 100 megabytes. You take 10 photos, you're looking at a gigabyte. That's going to eat up some space really fast. So it can do it, but by default it doesn't. And what they've done with it is, so the sensor is set up in a grid, and basically what they've done is the 4 pixels of the tic-tac-toe, or not tic-tac, what would you call that? Foursquare, the old game Foursquare, the bounce grid. Yep, grid. There you go. So what they've done is they instead of having the 4, they take that 4 and turn it into 1 pixel so it can capture more detail. So it's still 12 megapixel, but it's using the whole sensor. So it can take pictures in lower light. It's still a 12 megapixel camera, but it's the pictures are supposedly far better. And I say supposedly because I haven't really seen it. It's interesting what they've done. A couple of the camera nuts that I have read on it say it is really, really good, and they're actually glad that it is not a 48 megapixel camera because the processing would be, when it takes a photo, it takes a while. 48 megapixels is a big, big photo. So, because I was with you, I'm like, 48 megapixel, sweet. And then all of a sudden it's like, ooh, so. That's basically what they need. I think we will get to the point where 48 megapixel will be the standard, which would be really cool because then you could zoom in, and it's not like you would need digital zoom per se, but yeah, they need that storage. 10 terabyte would, right now you can get a terabyte. So, and then they're going to have to up their iCloud storage. Right now you can only get a 2 terabyte unless you buy a couple of plans or more storage. So, it's coming, just not ready yet. You could, but it doesn't make it any better. Yeah, that's what they call upscaling. And when you it's kind of like not that a 12 megapixel picture is garbage by any means, but you can't make a 12 megapixel picture like you see on TV. All of a sudden it's like, can't you digitize that and make that look better? It generally doesn't work like that, generally. So, all right. So that's a dynamic island. I'm very intrigued to see it, honestly. It looks really cool. I would say a little bit on the gimmicky side, but actually I kind of like it. So, and my guess is Samsung will follow suit with it. All right, so this question here from Deborah. Deborah, are you here?
I'm here.
Okay. So you said, what is your, so basically what Deborah is saying is when she shares when she's in a Zoom call and she's sharing her screen, see, let me know if I have this right, Deborah. And then when she goes into full screen, what happens is the Zoom share is paused.
Yeah.
Correct?
Right.
And the only way that you can get around it is by going full screen and then sharing. Right? Or can't you get around
Well, that doesn't work either.
it? Okay.
It didn't work for me.
All right. I tried it. I didn't have any problem.
Do that?
Yeah. So we've all been on Zoom calls for a while. Can I ask anyone here, have they had that problem at all? Where you open it up and then
I haven't,
Okay.
at least that I know of.
Okay, so you're suggesting that you go to full screen mode first?
That's what I read. Somebody said try it in full screen mode. I couldn't find a lot on it. The other thing to do would be, does it happen every single time?
It typically happens if I'm then in my keynote, my presentation keynote, and then I go to the link in the keynote, which is supposed to be live, and it is underlined and it's live, and I then go to YouTube, and
That could be a
get the
network
YouTube,
problem.
but then I try to go make the YouTube full screen, then it cuts totally out and it pauses everything and you can't do anything.
All right. I have an idea. Could be network, but it could
Okay.
also be when you do your keynote presentation.
Yep.
Is that in full screen? So are you
Uh,
going from full screen,
no.
click on the link to full screen?
No,
So your keynote is in a window?
it's in a window, yes.
Okay, then that's not what I was thinking of. Because what it will do if you go from full, so let's, this is what I was thinking is if your keynote is in full screen, are you familiar
Yeah.
with spaces on the Mac?
Yes.
So if you're in one space, these are spaces here, and your Zoom is set up for this space. When you open it up in YouTube, I wonder if it's going to another space. So then what it's doing is it's pausing this one. That's kind of what I came up with what it's doing. You get what I'm saying? I think Zoom is saying, I'm going to share this screen. And then when you go to that screen, it says, I got to pause this one. But then when you go because when you go full screen, if I go full screen here, let's see, we'll go here. I go full screen. Essentially what it did is it opened up another space. So this is my thinking. You have Keynote open here. You click on the link. So I'm going to click on the link here. Let's just pretend that this is a YouTube video. It's going to play fine. It's not going to pause it. Go to full screen. The Mac just put that into another screen. Zoom is sharing this screen, so it's pausing it. And I don't know a workaround for that, so unfortunately, but I think that's what it's doing. Yeah. And you could also, yeah, go ahead. I don't recall anything like that with the when switch to a space. Hey, good call there. Let's try it. So I'm in mission control, and when switching to an application, switch to a space. So let's just do that. So now I have my two windows open. Right. Yep. And a third thing you could do is when you're in Zoom, when you share a screen, that's not Zoom. When you're in Zoom and you share a screen, do you know how you can just share a window and not the entire screen? You familiar with that? Yeah. So I was thinking you should just share the window. I think you mentioned that. So, but I think that's what's happening. So try a couple of those things. See if that. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. To download. Mm-hmm. And yeah, with Keynote, because I've done this. Let's open up here. It is Keynote. And go new document. Let's just go with this one. And media, you can just web video. I would enter in the YouTube video. Let's go to Safari here. I need a YouTube video. You need the URL for it. So let's see here. I like YouTube, but man, I'm not logged in, so I'm getting all this crap. All right, we'll just go with this one here.
None of us will ever forget what happened to
Mute it here. Copy it. And now I have that URL in there. Insert. And there it is. So now it's in my Keynote presentation, and as I'm giving the presentation, all I have to do is just click on it, and it'll start playing. And I still have all of the stuff around it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll just start. We'll just create a brand new presentation. So I'm going to delete that. So brand new presentation. We'll just go with blank screen here. Go up to media. You can see web video. It accepts Vimeo and it accepts YouTube videos. Then you have to paste the URL in there. So you need to have that URL. And now what you're able to do is just move this around. You can make it full screen in your presentation. Yeah, and that's it. Then it'll play with your presentation. Within your presentation. Mm-hmm. Team effort. All right. This is from Carol. She says her mail rules are moving my messages to, whoops, and I have a typo, to the wrong account. Why? So basically what she was explaining is she has a Gmail account and she has an iCloud account. And then she has rules in Mail, not in iCloud, not in Gmail. She actually uses Mail from what I could tell. With Mail, we can set up rules here. And when it's a specific rule, when it hits a specific rule, what she does is she moves it to a mailbox. And what it's doing is it's moving it to the wrong mailbox. Is Carol here? Okay, not here. So I did a little research on this, and I found out that it's actually, I'm not going to say it's common to Apple. I'll go with it's common, because the first hit that I got, Microsoft. People on Microsoft's forum are having the exact same issue. So what Microsoft came back and said was make sure at the end of your step, what you do is put stop evaluating rules. Oops, you're not looking at my computer. There we go. So I'm in my rules here, and she has it set to move a message to a specific mailbox. So, like I said, what Microsoft recommends doing is making sure that your last step here, so I would add another step. I don't know if this is going to work, to be honest with you. Stop evaluating rules, because then it will stop doing anything, I guess. I don't know if it would automatically hit another rule and then go and move it again. I have no idea, but this is what Microsoft came back with. Apple didn't come back with any kind of a recommendation, but Microsoft did, and I found that we have the same option here. So my first thing is make sure that that is your last step on your rules. The other thing that I would do is personally is I would make sure that your mailboxes are not named the same. Try that. That could be where it shouldn't. I'm not saying that it absolutely should just go to the right account, but what you can do to make sure that it goes to the right mailbox is just rename the mailbox. And the way that you would do that is, if we go over to my mailboxes here, what I can do is rename this. I control click on it to rename it. And from here, what I would do, this is for my iCloud, so maybe just try it. You don't have to rename all of them, but maybe call it iCloud AMA. And then the other one could be Gmail, whatever it may be. See if that works. If that works, then you know that that's the solution, because that way the mail program is not going to get confused because it's a completely separate name in addition to it being a completely separate account. But stop evaluating rules, make sure you add that step, and then also just try this, see if that works. So if you're watching this later, those are my recommendations.
Dan?
Yeah.
I took your Spark course.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nope. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Oh, really? Okay. There we go. That I didn't expect. Mm-hmm. Right. Sure. So what some of you have heard me mention this before, and maybe I should end with this, Carol. Don't, if you can, I know people have specific reasons, and there may be a specific reason why you're using the mail's rules, but if you can, don't use them here. The problem with using the mail's rules is your computer has to be up and running 24/7 in order for it to work properly. If you go and check your mail on your iPhone or your iPad and your Mac is closed, I don't know what Mac she has, but if it's a laptop, a portable, and that thing is closed, or maybe it's sleeping, those mail rules are not going to be applied. And when she goes over to her iPhone, those rules are not going to be applied. So you want to use the rules at the top. Like Phil was saying, you want to use them at iCloud. And it's relatively easy. You've seen me do this before. I'll go with the rules are not as extensive, but they're still there and they still work. Log into iCloud. To be honest with you, I'm not sure how it's done on Gmail, but I'm going to assume it's pretty easy, right, Phil? It's got to be pretty easy. Okay. 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 So it's not called rules, it's called filters and blocking. Okay. So here's where I add them in iCloud. And as you can see, it's not, the rules in on the Mac are better. But for the most part, you know, who it's from, what the subject contains. For a while there, I was getting those McAfee spam emails, and I could have created a rule. If it contains McAfee, go into, you know, my junk mail. And it would have done it at the top, so no matter what device I'm on, it would apply those rules. So if you can, Carol, try it at the cloud as opposed to the mail app, and then see if that works. But there may be reasons that I do not know. All right, so, oh, that's it. Wow. Okay, that went relatively quick. So yes, Q&A, comments?
Well, kind of.
Oh, we got some questions. Okay, hold on a minute, Dale. We got some questions in the chat. So Dale, go, and then we'll take a look at what we have in the chat.
Kind of on the same extension of what you were just talking about. If you end up with one person's emails always in junk, how do I get it going to my, and there is no rule for this particular person. They're in my contacts. I even made them a VIP, I think, and it still goes to the junk file. How do I turn that off?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Could I throw a
Yeah.
comment on that?
Go for it.
Because I've had this exactly the same problem. And there again, what I've found is you have to go to the server level, and you have to put them in your Gmail contacts list on the server, and also in your iCloud contacts list. In other words, if it's only in iCloud's contacts list, you know, Gmail doesn't know anything about it. So it's a pain.
Ah, nice.
But we've been fighting that, and that seems to work pretty good. Now, I don't know whether Yahoo has the same thing, or they probably do, but you know, most of us use Gmail and iCloud, and so take that extra step, and it should help.
Is it with your iCloud, Dale?
I'm not sure.
Well, in iCloud, I was always using contacts in iCloud,
Right.
and of course that's both local and in the cloud account.
Yeah.
But I never thought about, hey, I need to put that whitelist in my Gmail contacts list as well.
Yep.
And that seems to help.
Phil, do you
Again,
have
server-based stuff. It's extra work, but it can be worth it.
Wondering why it would pick one person. I mean, I don't have a problem with anybody else. It's just
Anybody
this
else?
one.
Yeah, and that's I don't know.
We have the same problem.
Yeah, I get it. I get it with
goes
people
to
that get my emails, and they're like, it goes into my junk mail folder, and I try. There's, especially with someone like me who I send out emails, I have to jump some extra hurdles that you don't. You know, I have to put the SPIF filter, you know, because basically it's all spam protection kind of thing, but it still falls through the cracks. Yeah, I don't have a clear answer. Another thing you can do, it's as old school, but when it goes into your junk, so I have my junk here. Let's just say this iTunes Connect was not actually junk. This is what Apple recommends. Put it in your inbox. You might have to do that a couple of
We
times.
can't see your screen.
Ah, crap. There we go. All right. So I'm in my junk mail filter here. What you can do, drag it into, and you might have to do that 2 or 3 times, but supposedly what you're doing is you're training Apple to say that is not junk, and then eventually what's going to happen is those emails will not be put into your junk mail. That's the idea. I can't guarantee it. Yeah, okay. So you're doing that then. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. Keep me posted on it, because I know that other people are probably having the same thing, and I don't really have a clear answer for that. So, and you could try like what Phil was talking about. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I changed email servers. I'm using Google as Dan at danstutorials.com is now hosted by, the email is hosted by Google. I was going through because I was trying to be I'm Dutch. I was trying to be cheap and paying $10 a year for this company to do, and I tried 2 or 3 companies, and it's just like, and on top of that, although I'm becoming a big fan of Google for the most part, but I didn't want to have to pay Google again. It's only $6 a month, but it was. I get on my soapbox every once in a while, and it's just like, I don't want to do that. I can just, but it got to the point where I need to, the company's growing, and I need to be with a reputable email address that doesn't. So once I did that, a lot of people, I still have the problem, but it's a lot less, like you said, Chris. So, yeah, I don't know. All right, let's take a look at some of these questions here. Don't have, let's see, Bobby, September 9th. I must have the wrong date in there, or I said it wrong. Robert Bob Applebaum said, cannot get the Mail app to work on his MacBook Pro, but I can get Mail on Chrome, but not on Safari, which is my preferred browser. I've been online with Earthlink. Okay, so you're using Earthlink. What were you saying? But it works on Chrome, but not on Safari. I wouldn't say it's too crazy. I am a Safari user. Absolutely, 95% of the time I'm in Safari. But saying that, I had to use Chrome the other day. And it was with the Otter AI, the transcription service. I would upload my file with Safari, and it would error out. I'd upload the video, it'd get 90% done, and all of a sudden error. And it's been doing this for probably 3 or 4 weeks now, and hit and miss. It's been getting worse. Works every time in Chrome, and it bugs me. Yeah. Yep. Right, webmail. So you have to. Yeah, I don't know. I would think it would work, but I don't know. It's not like Earthlink is. I don't know if they changed something on the back end, but. You're right. Yep. Yes. All right. Well, good luck. Barry asks, how do you prevent junk or political text messages? Ooh. So, was it Frank we talked about this a while back, and there are some apps out there that can help you, but what you can also do is, if I go to my phone here, where is my phone? All right. If you get a text message, and it's from a mailing list or whatever. I don't have anything here, but on my phone I do. On my real phone I do. When you open one up, down at the bottom, the first thing is you can report it as junk. Now this won't stop it immediately, but at the very bottom, you'll see report as junk. It'll delete it from your Messages app and then report it to whoever the powers that be that it is junk, and hopefully that'll do something, although I'm not saying that I don't have a lot of faith in that because people are pretty sneaky. You could add them to a blocked list. I think we've talked about that before, but the problem is that they don't use the same phone number. They use a rolling phone number. So yeah, you add that phone number, they're just going to do the same thing with a different phone number. But there are apps out there. And was it, Frank, was it you that was playing around with these a while back? This might have been 6 months ago. Spam, caller, spam text. Text Killer was the one I believe that we touched on. And you can download that. Now it is a subscription, but I think they have a free version here, or you could just try it. But like they say right there, it eliminates 99% of spam text messages. So, something like that you could use. All right, Linda, my iPad shows that I have 4 messages, but there are none. This number 4 does not show up on my iPhone. Well, and why is it my thing's not switching? So let's go to my iPad. And this is in the Messages app here. Okay. Let's take a look at the preferences here. So I'm going to go to Messages and see if there's anything that we can see in here that might help. First thing I would do is I would make sure that you use an iMessage. You want to make sure that everything is in sync, and iMessage keeps everything in sync. If you have that off, that could be one difference, one reason why you're going to have more messages on one device than the other, including unread and read. So, yeah. All right, let's see here. I think, here we go. I don't know if, wow, that's interesting, huh? Everyone's having this. Okay, now I'm using iPad OS 16, so I do not know if this is available on your iPad, but it will be when you get iPad OS 16. You're going to see over here, unread messages. So what I'm able to do is select this, and it's going to show me all of the unread messages. I'm hoping that it's going to show you your 4 messages that are unread, and then you can read them. Right. No, you'll get the update for free. You'll get iPad OS 16 for free. Apple will release it, rumor has it, in 2 to 3 weeks. And then you're going, like I say, if someone wants to take a look on their iPad, I don't know if this is new or not, but it does have the iPad or unknown, unread messages. For Chris, let's see if we have that on there. Yeah. View conversations and okay, so it's coming in iPad OS 16, so you'll have that. It looks like it is not. I wonder if it's going to come. I have Ventura on here, but I'm not in Ventura, so I can't tell you if it's going to come, but I do not see a way to filter unread messages here. So you're just going to have to work with it until we figure out a solution, and hopefully Ventura will have that solution. Yep, I don't see anything there off. Yeah, nothing there. All right, charging. This is from Deborah. My studio monitor is plugged into power, and my MacBook is connected to my monitor. So basically, it's always charging. There is no button to shut off the monitor. So I've been disconnecting from the monitor periodically, so my MacBook Pro is not charging. Yeah, I think that's a good that's a good thing to do. With any of these batteries, it's a lithium-ion battery. You know, it goes from computers to cars, Teslas, all of them. Basically, what you want to do is you want to vary the charging habits of any lithium-ion battery. And Apple has stuff built in to help maximize, you know, this kind of stuff. Like if you have an iPhone, it doesn't necessarily charge it to 100% all the time. But you know, it is a good idea. What I've read or what they told us, and I'm going 10 years ago, I don't think the battery technology has changed that much. But basically what you want to do is run your battery dead about once a month. That's what they told us to recommend people 10, 15 years ago. And I don't think that has changed at all. It's gotten better with battery. You know, the computers can do a lot more with it. But yes, I think you're doing the right thing. You can. I leave mine plugged in probably 80% of the time, but about once a month I unplug it and just let that thing, I just use it and let it go dead just to make sure that that computer knows like it has a battery that can go dead. You know, otherwise it kind of forgets it. So. Yeah. Yeah. Well, my monitor is the same thing. I have a Thunderbolt monitor, an oldie but a goodie. But God, I love that thing. And the power button isn't. I never turn that thing off, but I unplug it from the port, you know, on my MacBook, and then it shuts off there. So I never shut my monitor off per se. Probably not good for energy usage, but I just. Every once in a while, yep, unplug it. Yep, absolutely. And like I say, that is common to all lithium-ion batteries. So my Tesla, I have to do the same thing. You know, they recommend doing that. Don't charge it to 100%. Charge it to 80% unless you're going on a trip. Then charge it up to 100%. But other than that, charge it to 89% every night. And if you don't need it at 80 to 90%, don't charge it every night. Maybe charge it once a week. I charge mine up before the weekend in case we want to go somewhere. But right now it has like 120 miles on it. But I don't plan on going anywhere. Tomorrow I'll charge it up, and then I'll have 300 miles for the weekend. And then through the week, I just kind of let it run down. And then the car will, that battery will last longer. Go with that. So, all right, everyone. That is what we have. So I want to thank everyone, and I am coming out with my iOS 16 videos. So those are slowly coming out. I'm trying to add 1 or 2 a day here. Then my goal is there's a new way that I can do the Apple Watch. So you're going to be able to see my Apple Watch now. So I'm going to finally redo my tutorials for the Apple Watch. I don't have to have a funky camera mounted on something and then hold my wrist there and all that. Apple really changed it up. In fact, I can show you. Where's my phone? It's pretty cool what they can do, or what I can do. So basically what I'm able to do is AirPlay. Let's see here. Let's go. Yep, exactly. Let's go to my phone. And right now you're looking at my demo phone, so I'm going to change it to my iPhone 10. So this is my actual phone. And what I'm able to do, Apple Watch mirroring. You didn't see my face. Let's try it again. Apple Watch mirroring. Apple Watch mirroring. There it is. And now this is what is on my watch. And I can actually go to my phone here, tap on it. You're going to see it changes. So it's a whole new way for me and other people that are creating these tutorials. It's a whole new way for us to demo the phone. And what I actually did, I have the wrong setup here. What I actually did is I created a scene to where I blocked all this out. Let's see here. Let's see if I screw in this. This is in 16. Yep. No. You just have to have iOS 16 and you have to have the new watch on it. I mean, new watch OS. New watch OS. I do not have a new watch. I don't know if it'll work on Series 4. They haven't made that in a couple of years. I believe it'll work on a Series 3. So, and yeah, it's really what it is. It's an accessibility option. So what, for someone that has a hard time controlling the watch, basically I can just sit here and control the watch right from, I'll hold my phone up here again in front of the camera, and you can see that's all I'm doing is just. Yeah, so the way I have it set up is a shortcut. So I'll show you how I have it set up. So this is, okay, yeah. So it's what you do is you go to settings, and then you go to accessibility, and then you're going to see Apple Watch mirroring. Turn it on. But it's, I'll give you the shortcut here because you don't want to have to go into settings, go into accessibility, go to Apple Watch mirroring every single time. So what you can do is, this is not new, but you're going to see down at the bottom here we have accessibility shortcut. So what we can do when we triple click the side button, because I have a Face ID, if you have a phone with a home button, I think you triple click the home button. What you can do when you tap on it 3 times, you can have it do any one of these things. So what I do is I have Apple Watch mirroring selected and I have zoom. So when I press this in 3 times, 1, 2, 3, I can select which one I want. If I turn off zoom, now I only have one thing set. What it will do, 1, 2, 3, goes immediately into it. So I'm just pressing that 3 times, 1, 2, 3. And which watch do you have? I would think the 5 would have it. Let's see here. So maybe need a new watch. I'm looking that up right now. Series 6, Series 7, Series 8. 6, 7, and 8. All right, let's leave it on that note. Next week, I am going to be having a class on Pages, the basics of Pages, going through my little, last week I ended on Numbers, or this coming week is going to be on Pages. And then I don't have anything scheduled after that, so maybe what I'll do is just my favorite iOS 16 tips, and now that they're coming out with this, and everyone will have it by then, I can just kind of show you some tips on how to get around it. So I might just schedule that one. So outside of that, thank you for your support, and let your friends know about my site, and have a good weekend. Yeah?